Today, we're deep diving into Airdrie's 2025 spring real estate market. And whether you're thinking about buying or selling here in Airdrie, or whether you're curious of how this charming city compares to the big city itself, you're in the right place. We'll break down the latest numbers, explore what's driving the market changes, and I'll give you an honest take on what that means whether you're buying or selling. Let's begin. First, let's talk about the big picture here in Airdrie. Airdrie's real estate market is experiencing what I'd call a return to reality after some pretty wild years. The benchmark price here in Airdrie sits at $541,020 as of spring 2025. That's up just 0.8% year over year. Compare that to Calgary, which is sitting at $588,840. which actually dropped by 0.1%. So Airdrie is slightly outperforming Calgary in terms of price stability, although both markets are essentially flat, really, at the 0.8, 0.1%. So now here's the interesting part, is sales are down 10% year over year in Airdrie, with 772 transactions so far this year. That might sound alarming, but context is everything. So we're coming off of 3 consecutive years that were exceptionally low inventory, superheated market conditions. So this pullback was not only expected, but it's actually healthy when we're looking at the overall market. Now let's talk about what's really driving these changes. So inventory is the key word here. This is where things really get interesting. So new listings in Airdrie jumped 31% compared to last year, and inventory skyrocketed to 133%. So before you panic, remember we're coming from near record lows. It's like saying a glass went from being 10% full to 23% full. So it's a big percentage increase, but we're still not at normal levels. We're now also sitting at 2.5 months supply. So in Calgary, it's exactly the same at 2.5 months supply. So historically, 4 to 6 months is considered balanced. So both markets are still firmly in the seller's market territory, just not as extreme as before. And the sales to new listing ratio in Airdrie is about 57%, meaning for every 100 new listings, 57 of them are selling. So in Calgary, it's very similar. This is actually healthy competition that benefits both buyers and sellers. Now, again, every home type, price, all that makes a difference on whether you're sitting at a seller's, balanced, or buyer's market. Let's break this down by property type, because not all properties are created equally. So Airdrie detached homes are at 645,760, so that's up 2% year over year. Calgary detached is around that 769,400, so up just 1%. So still making Airdrie much more affordable than, say, the Calgary area. Airdrie detached homes are showing slightly stronger growth while remaining significantly actually more affordable than Calgary. So that's a 123,640 difference. So that's real money in your pocket. Like if you look at that in your mortgage, that would be a significant change in monthly mortgage payments. Let's look at semi-detached homes, so duplexes. Airdrie is sitting at 504,460 on average. That's up 4%, where Calgary's at the 697,300, up 2.9%. Again, Airdrie is showing stronger percentage growth at a much more accessible price point. Row housing, this is where things get interesting because Airdrie row homes are at 385,660 on average, up 4%. Calgary row homes are at 453,600, down 1.9% year over year. So Airdrie's row housing market is significantly outpouring Calgary and still much more affordable. When we're looking at the apartments, so Airdrie condos are sitting at 294,120, up 5%. Calgary condos are sitting at 335,300, down 1.5%. Another win for Airdrie when it comes to affordability, but those numbers are not too far off from each other, really. So what's behind these numbers? Several factors here are at play. The report mentions that global tariffs and energy price volatility are creating uncertainty. So here's the thing, Airdrie benefits from being close enough to Calgary for economic opportunities while offering more affordable housing. New construction impact. So both markets are seeing record high construction starts, mostly higher density rental units. This is adding supply choice and taking pressure off the resale prices. In Airdrie, this is creating opportunities for both the buyer and the seller. The other thing is Alberta continues to see strong interprovincial migration. So though it's slowing from the crazy pace of recent years, Airdrie benefits from this as people look for more affordable alternatives than, say, the Calgary area. The next thing is with rates expected to ease further this year, this could provide additional support for buyers, especially in more affordable markets like Airdrie. Okay, so what does this mean for you if whether you're buying or selling? So for buyers, this is honestly the best environment we've seen in years. You've got some more choices. Properties are staying on the market a little bit longer, 37 days in Airdrie, 28 days in Calgary, and the frantic bidding wars are mostly behind us. So in Airdrie, you're getting significantly more value for your dollar compared to Calgary. That's $123,000 difference in detached home prices. That could be your entire down payment of a large home. For sellers, don't panic. This market is not cooling off necessarily, but yes, your home might take a little bit longer to sell than 1 or 2 days. On average, we're kind of seeing that just over a month mark here in Airdrie. And you might not get 15 offers for that listing, but you might get 1, possibly 2. So Airdrie still sits in that seller's market territory, pricing it right, presenting it well, and it will sell. Again, it really does factor in, what are you priced at? Is the home move-in ready? You know, if the home needs a little bit more work, your house might sit a little bit longer on that market. The key is realistic pricing. So the days of pricing high and expecting multiple offers to drive it higher are mostly over. You know, you could take that strategy of listing low and hoping for high. I would not recommend it in this market. This is not a market to gamble with. I personally am advising all my clients not to gamble like that. We should be pricing the home at market value, not under, not over, but at market value. Looking ahead. So looking forward, I expect Airdrie to continue to outperform Calgary in terms of affordability and value. The fundamentals are strong. It's a growing community with excellent access to Calgary, good schools, and a good sense of community. The report suggests that we're moving towards more of a balanced condition, which is healthy long term. Expect continued modest price growth. Nothing like double digits maybe as we've seen in the past years, but steady, sustainable growth. I don't suspect we're going to be seeing those house prices drastically come down that maybe some of you are hoping for. Those days are not ahead. All the analysts and all the data is showing us that we are still going to see small inclines in pricing. So new construction will continue adding supply, particularly in the high density option, which gives everyone a little bit more choice as well. So final thoughts, here's my bottom line. Airdrie Spring 2025 market represents a fantastic opportunity. So buyers have more negotiation power. They've got selection than they've ever had in the last few years, while sellers can still achieve their goals of getting a good price within a reasonable time frame. So really, I find that in this market, we are leaning more towards the balanced market as buyers can still buy at an affordable price and sellers are still getting a good price for their house. If you're comparing Airdrie to Calgary though, the value proposition is clear. You get more space and more community feel here in Airdrie, a significantly more bang for your buck when it comes to purchasing a home. So that's a wrap on the Airdrie Spring Market update. So what do you think about these trends? Are you considering buying or selling? Drop your questions or your comments below. I read every single one of them, and a lot of our future videos come from those questions and comments. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you're notified every time we put out a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you around town.